Hello friends, welcome to Basic Science. Today our topic is cell, the fundamental unit of life. Let's discuss why the cell is known as fundamental unit of life. It is also known as structural and functional unit of an organism. So our body, do you know? Our body is made up of 37.2 trillion cells. Amazing, 37.2 trillion cells. Our lungs are for respiration process, heart is for transportation, alimentary canal is for digestion, and kidney to remove all the excretory organs, remove all the excretory substances from the body. Like that, every cell, every cell in our body has division of labor because they have different type of organelles. So let's see what is the structure of cell and how the organelles of the cell are work. So first see who discovered the cell. Robert Hooke in 1665. He discovered cell by his own made microscope. And what he saw in a cork of a plant. Actually cork is a dead cell. So what he discovered cork cell which is looked like a honeycomb. And each compartment of this comb he called as a cell. So first time he discovered the cell in 1665. After the development of some microscope, Antony van Leeuwenhoek, he discovered the first free living cells from his ponds. So in 1674 he discovered free living cells from his ponds. After that Robert Brown discovered nucleus in 1831, and nucleus is also known as the brain of the cell. In 1839 Purkinje discovered the protoplasm. Slydale was a botanist and the Swan was a zoologist. What they discovered? They discovered that every plant and animal is composed of different type of cell. Plant and animal, they have a different type of cell. It means what they discovered that every living organism is made up of cell. They give cell theory, but they were not able to explain this theory. So in 1855 Virchow he explained the cell theory, and what he explained that all living organisms are composed of cell and they are the product of cell. And also all cell arise from the pre-existing cell. Means a zygote, it converts into a human being, or it can be a plant, or it can be a animal. So every single cell convert into a organism by the division. It means all the existing cell are arise from the pre-existing cells. There are different type of cells which is present in our body in plants, and their structures are based on their function. For example, we can see here the RBC, which is biconcave in structure, WBC, which doesn't have any shape and changes its shape, and bone cells, you can see here it is a branched structure. And the longest cell in our body is nerve cell, which functions as a control and coordinate in our body. It also responds to different stimulus or responses. And stomata, you can see here the bean shaped structure of a stomata. So there are so many structures of the cell, they have different type of shapes. Numbers of cells are also different in different organisms. If we compare a unicellular organism which has a single cell, and when we compare a human being or elephant or different type of animals, we can say that the number of cells is also different according to the size of the animals, but the size of cell will be the same. Whatever is the shape or size of animal doesn't matter. The size of the cell is a same in every organism. On the basis of their structure, we can say that every cell has some three essential parts. Every cell has these three essential parts, and these are the cell membrane, the outer covering of the cell. This is called cell membrane. Cytoplasm, this liquid type structure which is present inside the cell, which give also the shape of the cell, is known as cytoplasm. And the nucleus, which I told you earlier that it is known as a brain of the cell. So in this video we will discuss only these three main essential parts of the cell: the cell membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm. And other organelles of the cell we will discuss in our next video. So here we first see the cytoplasm. You can see here the cell membrane. It is cover the cells and it also give the shape of the cell. And the cytoplasm, which is present inside the cell, and all the organelles are present in this material, and this is known as cytoplasm. So cytoplasm is jelly like substances which give the shape, and also some enzymes are also present in the cytoplasm. Plasma membrane, the outer covering of the cell. This is the outer covering of the cell. This outer covering of the cell is known as plasma membrane. It is a living membrane and it is made up of protein and lipid. You can see here, these are the lipid and these structures are known as protein. So this is made up of lipid and protein, and it is a living membrane. It is also called a selective membrane. We will discuss about this, that why it is known as selective permeable membrane, because it allow to come and go out some substances from cell to inside to outside. Some cells like a plant cell or bacterial cell they have a outer covering, and this outer covering around the cell plasma membrane is known as cell wall. This is the cell wall, and this cell wall is a non-living and it is made up of cellulose. In plant cell this cell wall is present, and in animal cell there is no cell wall. The cell wall protect the cell in it also give the rigid structure to the plant. The plasma membrane is known as semi-permeable membrane because it allows the permeability of different type of substances. For example, here we can see that this cell has a high concentration of carbon dioxide because of respiration. So after respiration, the concentration of carbon dioxide is very high inside the cell, and the concentration of oxygen is very low because of respiration. But outer side of the cell, what we can see that the concentration of oxygen is very high as compared to the carbon dioxide. So what happened? The high concentration here, the concentration of carbon dioxide is very high, and here the oxygen concentration of oxygen is very high. So what they do, they transfer the carbon dioxide from inside to outside to balance the concentration from higher concentration to the lower concentration. So carbon dioxide comes out and oxygen goes inside the cell. So this is called diffusion. They diffuse according to their concentration from high concentration to low concentration, and this plasma membrane allow this diffusion. That's why it is known as selective permeable, and also it support osmosis. Here we have three type of solution: hypotonic solution, isotonic solution and hypertonic solution. Okay, hypotonic solution, I will explain this with an example. Suppose you have a resin and you kept the resin in a water for 3 to 4 hours. After some time, what you can see that the resins which are in water are swells. Why? Because the concentration of water inside the resin is very low, and the concentration of water outside is very high. In the vessel, the concentration of water is very high, and the concentration of water inside the resin is very low. So what happened? The water goes inside the resin and makes it swells. So we can call it hypotonic solution when the water concentration in outer medium is very high. So cells become hippo means hippopotamus, a very flashy animal. So we can say in hypotonic solution the cells become hippo means it turgid, it flashes. Isotonic solution means the solution in which the concentration of water in both the cell and the outer medium is same. After putting resin in water for 4 to 5 hours, if you continuously kept the resin in water, there is no increase in size because the concentration of water here is same. Outer solution and the inside the cell, the concentration of water is same. Next is a hypertonic solution. What is hypertonic solution? Hypertonic solution means when the concentration of water inside the cell is very high as compared to the outer medium. For example, when we have a grapes and we put these grapes into the very sugary solution, then what happen, after some time we can see these grapes are converted, these grapes are shrink. Why? Because the water which is present inside the grapes will come out and it makes the grapes very shrink. So these are the three types of solution, and in these three types of solution we can understand that the membrane of cell, you can see the cell membrane of the cell, they are semi-permeable and they allow water and other substance to go inside and outside from the cell. That's why they are known as semi-permeable membrane. The next part of the three essential part, the next third one is a nucleus. Here we can see this is the cell membrane, this is the protoplasm, and this structure is known as nucleus. Nucleus, it is a double layer structure. So you can see here inner membrane and outer membrane, and this is the nucleus, the circle structure which is known as nucleus, and the thread-like structure which is present inside the nucleus is known as nucleolus, and the third thread-like structure which is present is known as chromatin threads. These chromatin threads are made up of chromosome and histone protein. At the time of cell division, these chromatin threads convert into chromosome, and these chromosome, you can see here, these are made up of DNA, and each functional DNA is known as gene. Gene, as we know very well, that gene are responsible for our heredity. It transfer our genetic material from offspring to parents to their offspring. So that's why this nucleus is known as brain of the cell. It has chromosome, and chromosome, the functional part of this DNA, is known as gene, and these are responsible for the heredity of the organism. So in this video we will discuss, we are discussing only the three parts of the cell. These are the cell membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm. But there are some organisms which don't have any nuclear structure, and according to this structure we can divide the cell into two parts. These are the prokaryotic cell and the eukaryotic cell. Prokaryotic cell means they have primitive type of nucleus. Primitive type of nucleus means their nuclear structure is not enclosed in a membrane, and eukaryotic structure means their nucleus is covered in a in an envelope. So here we can see this is the prokaryotic cell. Prokaryotic cell, it doesn't have any nucleus and any membrane bound structure, doesn't have any membrane bound structure, and it also have nucleoid which is thread like structure which is present in the cell, but it doesn't have any covering, any membrane, and mesosomes which control the respiration and other process of this cell, and the cell wall, it has cell wall, it has cell membrane, but it doesn't have any cell any organelles which has the membranous structure. So we can say, according to this, we can say that every organism, if it is the single cell organism, they also have their lifestyle and they can be a living with a single cell structure. These are the unicellular structure. They don't have so many cells like us. They have only single cell, but they are still living. So each cell are capable to live without the help of any other cell. So we can say the cell is a structural and functional unit of an organism. For other organelles of the cell, because they have so many organelles, for other organelles of the cell, please watch my second video, and thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Thank you so much.